The Pink Man, also referred to as the Forgotten Baby, is a ghost of a child who died before given the chance to live. It has the characteristics of that of a fetus, in the process of becoming a full-fledged baby. Pink, delicate skin, large alien eyes, and a set of not fully formed appendages. This ghost was first spotted at a maternity ward after someone ventured into the section of the hospital that was not rebuilt after a fire broke out. It is very likely that the Pink Man was haunting the maternity ward even before the fire. After all, his death was not caused by the fire, but by a miscarriage. The child shows many signs of not being fully formed after all. Death by the unrelenting flame would have left the body in a different state. Its eyes, veins, and organs would have exploded, not to mention the skin would have been charred black, instead of the light pink we see here. So yes, this ghost has haunted the maternity ward that used to be part of the hospital for quite some time now. After the fire, the place that contained his form was destroyed, leaving the fetus full rein to explore outside its walls. This is when the second encounter takes place. The Pink Man is now visiting and exploring the world around him, moving and weaving silently through the night, encountering strange new things. At this point, he is spotted by the living, peeking from the corridor into the room. The witness later records what they have seen down on paper. Keep in mind that in both instances, hints of sorrow can be seen on his face. Trevor Henderson, the man who has studied and researched these beings, has shared the pictures and notes which he has gathered. The following is what was written. It had to duck under the doorway as it stepped into the room. For something that big, it moved very delicately, and it was eerily silent, as if it was a television channel that had been muted. Something you may all have noticed is the fact that it is taller than what it seemed on the first image. Following the theory, this makes sense. It is still an infant with a physical form. It has to keep growing. Though the energy it is gathering is different than what a normal child would use. A living being would use the food it ate to harvest energy. It is unknown what the Pink Man is harvesting to gain such size. Why call it a man? And how do you know it was an abortion? You may wonder. Well, that, my fair listeners, is because it had enough time in the womb for the X chromosomes to set in. Know that it usually takes a few weeks for the gender to change. We were once all female, but with time the X chromosome might set in, turning the child into a male. Knowing this, and the fact that the ghost was spotted in a maternity ward. Maternity wards do not deal with abortions. These are left to the clinics. This proves that it was a miscarriage and not an abortion that unfortunately took his life. There is one thing that is for certain, and that is that all humans are born innocent. No matter what it does, it cannot be deemed evil, for it does not know evil. The Pink Man will retain his innocence for as long as he roams this earth. If he hurts or scares you out of curiosity, forgive him, for he does not know what he is doing. Now, a few things I want to clear up. This will be directed towards my fellow YouTubers. I do not know who came up with the name, the Forgotten Baby, but keep in mind that it is not canon. Trevor has stated that the name is the Pink Man. Also, there are a few YouTubers that I have seen that feel that it is in their right to change and come up with stories for creatures they do not own. It is not only rude, but downright disrespectful. We can talk about these stories, but we can't change these stories as we see fit. They are not ours to change. For example, what I do is talk about the ghosts and creatures, speculate, make educated guesses, and hypothesize, so on and so forth. Some of my guesses may be incorrect, but I clearly state that they are merely theories and not set in stone. By forcefully injecting yourselves into the world that someone else is trying to build is how many genres have died through the years. I'm sure most of you have witnessed the unfortunate downfall of creepypastas, done in by its own fanbase, thinking they could change the previously made lore however they see fit. I do not want this new trend to die down, due to people self-inserting themselves in others' works. To whom it may concern, please be mindful. From Ancient Horror. Thanks for listening, and as usual, this has been your host, Ancient Horror, and I wish you some exhilarating nightmares.